I'm Clem,
I'm Harry,
and welcome back to the Audio Bros.
where we discuss all things audio.
Now, episode 3, let's get into it. So, me and Harry had a conversation, and we were thinking of setups that are reasonably budget for people. So we decided on £350 as a budget, which many of you guys were thinking, "Cool, 350 quid, that's not cheap." But however, we wanted to make sure that the setups that we were actually going to be recommending were halfway decent, because everyone can do like a thing where they say £100 for a setup, and they've got, all this like really cheap gear that is going to break in a few years. Me and Harry have decided to create these setups so that they would last you for a long time. They're future proof, and they're also really decent quality, made by good manufacturers who are reliable and trustworthy, and definitely make really good quality gear.
Exactly, and I feel like I reckon you've done a good job. I don't know what we've got. That's another thing we should say. We don't know what each other's picked.
Yeah, we don't have a clue.
And the way this came about is I'm currently designing a setup for myself because I've got all my PC built. I've just bought a Samsung monitor, curved one, it's pretty cool. And I'm building a desk, so I was trying to figure out, what do I want to do? Do I want to go the hi-fi route and have like a mini desktop hi-fi setup, or do I want to go the music production route, which is what Clem's done? So we've both picked things from our backgrounds. I've went hi-fi, he's went production. So we don't know what we've got. We're going to see what's happened.
No,
because I reckon it's going to be mad.
Indeed. So the rules were, basically, we had to have a pair of speakers or monitors, whatever we can decide. We had to have an amp or an audio interface to either power or send signal to these monitors, depending on obviously what we have. And we had to include the cables within that budget. So all for £350 we had to include, again I'll repeat it just to make sure you guys know, we had to have a cable to connect everything. We had to have the actual unit itself that's going to either power the speakers and send the sound, and we also had to have the actual speakers themselves. So 100%, you can get that home, you can set that up, plug it into a computer, or set it up and plug it into power, and you can play audio straight through it and it'll work.
Yeah, there's no funny business with these. These are literally plug and play setups. That's what they're made to be.
Yeah,
no issues with that.
Yeah, so it's easy, you set it up, it works, it's great quality, and it'll last you for a long time. Right, so, should we start off with speakers?
We can start off with speakers. However, I think we should do amps first, to be honest.
Okay, cool, yeah, you can go first,
Right, so I have a Fosse Audio Ep.3, which is a little Bluetooth amplifier, but it also has speaker wire connector on the back of it. You literally can banana plug it, or you can just crush the speaker wire in there and it'll work. And It's 100 watts per channel. It's a really decent little thing. It's made out of metal, good solid build. You have 3 knobs on the front of it. 2 of them, one of them's like volume, obviously. The other one is you can just turn the bass up on an actual knob, which I think is really cool, because I think not enough things have that. They have actual switches. And you also have a treble extension knob as well. So if you're listening to something that doesn't have enough, and because this is made to be a desktop thing, all of this stuff is reachable. So you can just lean over, turn it up, and it just sounds how you want. I like the fact that you've got adjustability with this amp, and it's cheap enough. It only costs about 70 quid, which I think is sick. 70 quid for an amp that does 100 watts per channel.
Yeah, that's definitely
unheard
really good. That's absolutely amazing. Do you know the does it do resolution, or is it literally just the sort of amplifier, like what you put into it outputs type thing? Does it like plug into a computer, or is it just a standalone?
I think you plug it into the computer and it just gives you whatever your source is.
Okay.
It's pretty transparent in that sense.
Yeah, that sounds definitely good. 100 watts per channel isn't bad at all, especially like especially for 100 quid. And if it's a decent quality amp, that's really, really good.
It's definitely a decent quality amp, that's for damn sure. These things I know are basically bulletproof.
Yeah. And so,
right, let's hear yours.
Right, for my one, I have picked the PreSonus Audio Box USB 96. So this is an audio interface. I was originally going to pick another audio interface, one similar to one that I own. However, with my other choices, I decided to pick a slightly cheaper audio interface. But slightly cheaper doesn't mean that it's bad, because I'm going to read out some of the specs to you guys here, which are absolutely amazing. So as far as inputs, because obviously if you guys are doing music production, you're going to want inputs to do stuff. It's got two inputs, which are the same as my audio interface actually, and you can either plug a quarter inch, a TRS, or an XLR into both of them. So you've got two channels. So maybe, obviously if you're a singer or a rapper or whatever, you can plug a mic into there, and you can also plug a guitar in at the same time. You can, again, you have two inputs, you can do whatever you want with it. They're both separate. Separately controlled as far as gain and gain staging, everything like that. It has two outputs on the back, which are balanced TRS outputs. So that's brilliant for when you're connecting to obviously your gear and your speakers. So you've got a balanced cable, so you're not 100%, it's going to be really high quality audio. It's got a dedicated stereo output for headphones, and also what's cool about this interface is it features MIDI. So you can actually control your MIDI hardware synths with this interface, and this isn't something you tend to see as much on a lot of interfaces, because obviously most people just use software. But if you have like a hardware synth or something that that controls MIDI, you can control it straight out this audio interface, and it connects to the computer obviously by USB. So again, if you don't have a USB Type A, you may need to get a connector, but they're relatively cheap anyway. And we didn't specify, whether this was going to be, a Mac or a PC type thing. So it fits within the budget. And if you have a Windows PC, it worked perfectly straight. If you don't have a Windows PC and you have a Mac, if it's a slightly older MacBook, it will work, but I'm pretty sure everyone who has a USB Type-C MacBook will have adapters anyway, so I thought, I don't really need to include that within the cost, as it's pretty much plug and play on the majority of stuff you've got in. Both of those inputs have phantom power as well, 48 volts, for your condenser microphones, and it has, let me get this up quickly here.
From what I'm hearing, this all sounds really dope. Honestly, I think this is pretty sick.
It is, and it gets better as well, because the when you're actually, it's compatible with Mac and Windows obviously, and the recording and output resolution is insane. It does 24-bit resolutions at many different sample rates, so you can have 44.1, which is what you tend to have, for the majority of recordings. You have 48 kilohertz, which is really good for film. That's tend to be the standard for films. You have 88.2 kilohertz in case you want to record at that and downsample, which I know some studios do. And you have 96 kilohertz again. So you've got up to 96 kilohertz of output, from your computer, which is absolutely excellent and fantastic for obviously when you're recording and when you're outputting, you want stuff to be as high quality as possible from the computer or the Mac or whatever. So there's some really, really good sample rates.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah, I've got some other stuff here to do with this interface. Yes, also the reason why this interface is brilliant compared to a lot of others is it comes with a lot of software. So it comes with a lot of VSTs and a lot of audio effects. So when you're starting off, you have some stuff made from, again, it's made from PreSonus, so it's a really good piece of software. It's not like they've included a pile of crap, which a lot of companies tend to do. It comes with PreSonus Studio 1.3, which is their audio software, which will get you started, and it's really good. It's a really good DAW, and it comes with 6 gigabytes of third-party software as well for you guys to use. So that's a pretty big chunk of stuff literally thrown in pretty much for free. And as far as the outputs, you can control your headphones and your main monitors separately, which is an awesome feature, which some audio interface, which are more expensive, actually don't have, which is absolutely fantastic.
Mine does not have that, and I wish it did, because that is a proper dope.
It's really useful, especially if you're mixing with headphones and speakers. You can literally, I like with my interface, I have a Scarlett 2i2 2nd gen. You can turn your headphones down, turn the monitors up, or vice versa, which is brilliant for switching over, and listening. So you can quickly switch stuff over, without having to unplug, headphones or speakers or any of that sort of stuff, which is absolutely excellent. Yeah, I mean, that's my choice for an amp or an audio interface.
So just to run over it again, I chose the Fosse Audio BT20A.
And I chose the PreSonus AudioBox USB 96.
So there we go. Right. Is it speaker wire time?
Yeah, let's do wires before we actually reveal our speakers.
Yeah, because these my speakers are they're mega, dude. They're proper cool.
Yeah, go on, go on.
Right. So for speaker wire, I've chose the Amazon Basic speaker wire. It's just standard 14 gauge copper wires. You don't really need anything special. It does the job. It just makes sound happen. That's just it. It just
Yeah.
travels a signal from one place to the other. So speaker, there is this massive debate about, oh, speaker wire really matters. Blah 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 blah. It doesn't. It doesn't. What matters more is the connections on the end, like
Yeah.
whether you use an RCA or any other kind of thing like that, or just usual banana clips, or you've got an LFE or whatever. It's just those things are what matter. The actual speaker wire itself doesn't. It just carries a signal. It's how you get that signal into the device you're plugging it into is what matters.
Do you have the length of your cable?
It's 15 meters.
15 meter quad.
for the
That's
speaker
not
wire.
bad. Yeah, that's not bad. And also,
15, yeah, it's 50 feet.
yeah, so because it's Amazon Basics as well, you've got some sort of level of certainty that it's going to be a half decent product, because Amazon, they're not just going to chuck their name on anything really crap. Obviously, it's not going to be as good as, massive premium speaker wise, but at the same time, you've got a really sort of, decent wire there, because, obviously Amazon have put their brand on it. And I've got a lot of Amazon Basic stuff, not related to audio, and it's decent quality. It does the job, and it's does exactly what it says on the tin.
Yeah,
It's brilliant.
exactly that. Amazon won't just slap their name on any kind of shite product. Like, all right, I picked Amazon speaker wire for my setup at my mum's place, but for here, I actually have some German cables, and the rubber coating around the outside of the wire is so much thicker, just because they like protecting their stuff. And it's German as well, so they've used thinner strands of copper, so you get a better signal, apparently. I don't know if it's true. And I know I said that speaker wire doesn't make a difference, but the way I have this set up, I need these speaker wires for longevity. And those big, thick bits of copper tend to snap quite easily when you move the wire about, but these really thin strands don't, so you end up with less fatigue over time the more the wire gets moved about. Not that you should move your speaker wire about, but just, it's just planning for the future.
Well, no, but also accents and stuff,
Yeah, exactly. So what did you get for speaker connections?
For speaker connections, I have they're sold singly, but obviously you can get them. You can get two, and it'll be a pair. The Stag SCG 1.5 Pro Series jack. So it's a jack to jack cable. So it's a 1/4 inch jack. I'm not sure if it is balanced or not. Oh, it isn't. Yeah, it is an unbalanced cable, unfortunately. But you can buy balanced cables, although it would be you'd be slightly over budget by a tiny bit. However, I decided that to 100% get these cables over just getting like a cheaper cable, was because I decided to get the Pro Series. So it's got really, really good connectors, and it's got the rest of it, and it will connect your speakers to your interface with high quality. Now, unfortunately, again, it isn't balanced, which obviously I would have loved to have done balanced, but with our budgets and budget constraints, I 100% wanted to make sure that we got under £150, so I chose this as an unbalanced cable, which may, obviously,
you mean 350?
Yeah, 350. Sorry, yeah, and obviously it may, it may result in a tiny bit of quality degradation. However, with the short sort of length that you're running and everything like that, it's minimal as far as noticing hiss or anything like that. And obviously, if you save up for about an extra couple of days, you can you could save about 10 quid and get yourself a pair of balanced cables. But with these, they are the Pro Series, so they have really good thick connectors on them. And I used to have a pair of Stag cables that I use, and they're absolutely brilliant. They're really like industry standard cables. They're brilliant.
They do make some really solid cables. I've had a couple Stag cables, and honestly, they've you probably swing from them from a tree. They're that solid. Like, they're seriously well built cables.
And they're 1.5 meters, so they're reasonably
like
long. So you can connect them. Again, because we're doing desk setups, you can connect them to. You can connect them to your audio interface with absolute ease, which is absolutely excellent and brilliant. So again, I'll go over what it's called again. It is the Stag SGC 1.5 DL Pro Series 1.5 meter jack to jack.
And mine is the Amazon Basic 14 gauge speaker wire. It's 15 meters or 50 feet, because you can just find it anywhere on Amazon, really.
Yeah.
Nothing special.
Yeah, and again, mine's industry standard, but it's not it's not the highest quality cable. Again, you'd probably want to get balance.
Always going to have that debate.
Yeah, again,
always going to have that. Always the highest quality is, and you need to get these, you need to get those. It's just a matter of opinion. It's, if you think quality, is made in the speaker wire, then you got an issue.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly. And I mean, to be honest with you, although these aren't 100% balanced, to be completely honest with you, like most, RCAs aren't balanced, and a lot of really high quality audio equipment uses RCAs. And also
90% of it does.
Yeah. And with my the speakers that I'm using, I'm not going to say what they are yet, because obviously we're going to do it in order. But they do have an RCA connector, so you can pick up a pair of RCAs for very cheap as well. If you did want to use a quarter jack. So,
see, mine do not. That's the fun part. But these are like everyone who knows hi-fi knows this name. Like, it's just certified. You know this name. You've heard this name. You wanted a set of these when you was 10 just because of the way they looked.
Yeah.
Like, they're seriously cool speakers.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're ready for that yet, are we?
What do you reckon? We should go? Should we go for it?
I reckon it's time.
Oh, and also I found.
I don't think it's ready.
Yeah, I found a pair of RCAs for again under budget. So yeah, you can buy RCAs. If you really wanted to connect to that.
RCAs are dirt cheap anyway.
Yeah.
Just get them for anything.
Yeah. Okay, right. Go on, speakers. Let's go. I'm excited for this. I'm really excited to hear what you picked.
You better be, probably. I know, you have no idea. These speakers are mad. Right, you ready? I'm just going to say this, you're going to lose this shit, because I found these for so cheap.
Go on.
Right. First of all, they cost 250 quid, which doesn't sound cheap at all.
No,
right?
It's not, yeah.
It's not for a set of speakers, but for what I picked it is. These are clipped reference R51Ms, and Christ, I swear to God, that is not doable.
No, that is good. That is really good. Clips are amazing. Yeah.
Clipped speakers for 250 quid is mega, dude. You can't get that. You can't get that. And they are seriously nice speakers as well. They come with banana connectors as well, like branded clips, and you get loads of cool stuff with them. They even come with a stand if you like, so you can opt in for an extra 10 quid, I think it is. They give you a stand for them. You can choose to have foam blocks for them, so when you're putting them on desk, like on a desk or something, you don't get vibration, like what Ken was saying in the previous video. So they're seriously set up well, and you get a lot for it. Like, it's 250 quid, but they give you all the stuff you need to get going. Like, seriously premium stuff, and everyone knows the name Klitsch, and they have one of the coolest looking waveguides for the tweeters. I think anyone, you just picture it, that massive square tweeter thing. It just looks so cool, and then you've got the copper cone on the speaker. It just looks so dope, and it's a 5-inch woofer as well, so it give you a decent punch. Like, it's not a small speaker, especially not if you're sitting right in front of it at a desk. Yeah. So it's that would really work out well. Right, let's see if you can beat that then. Right,
so I have got something that possibly could beat it, although obviously there are differences, in uses and, stuff like that, so frequency responses sound are going to be, obviously different. But these I found, they're not from a big company. I'm going to really sort of, build this up for you guys, because this is a really good speaker from what I've heard. I've never personally heard them, but from reviewers that I trust, and from the history of the company, I trust them as well. So these speakers are made, and they were designed in California by a bunch of ex-JBL employees who decided to branch off and create their own company. And they have done an absolutely amazing job. And again, a lot of people from the audio world, like Warren Hurt, who has a YouTube channel called, I think it's Mix Like a Pro or something, he absolutely loved them, and he used to mix stuff at Aerosmith in the 90s. There is SMG, who again he loves them, and he's really harsh on monitors and gear and speakers and stuff. He's known for shouting, and stuff. He is a bit like his Zeb reviews of audio equipment. He does like series where he just gets really angry about gear and stuff like that. So, bringing me onto the actual choice, so I've chose the Kali Audio LP6 monitors, which they are sold individually for £135, and you can get a pair of them for £270. Have you ever heard of Kali Audio?
I have heard of Cali Audio, yes,
And these
and
are
I know they're a very small brand, but apparently they're mega.
they're
Like they're
mega.
seriously good.
And these aren't a 5-inch woofer. These are the Kali Audio LP6s. So these feature a 6.5-inch woofer. They're active monitors as well. So you've got a
Wow, massive.
6.5-inch woofer. So you've got a little bit more bass extension than most 5-inch woofers, which is absolutely it's absolutely amazing. And their design's great as well because on the back they have a switch. Um, which on the back it has some photos again, which I'll show you guys now, which guys can see. It has photos, and you can switch between what environment you're in and what you know. Sort of what is where you're placing your speakers, so you can adjust them, and they will adjust to what you've got around you, so you can get the best sort of neutral and best sound from them, which is absolutely amazing. And they feature, as far as inputs, they have an XLR input, they have a balanced TRS, and an unbalanced RCA. So you have a lot of choice when connecting them. You can depending on your interface or your amp or whatever you're going to use them for. They have power cables included, obviously, and they're absolutely fantastic from what I've heard. They're, again, as you guys can see, they're black. They are 80 watts, so again, they're not the most powerful, but for studio monitors, you're not looking for power because they'll go as loud as they'll go, and then obviously they're more for accuracy and listening to stuff not at stupid volumes. Because that's obviously they're what they're for. And also, what's cool is that like the JBLs, they do feature their own little waveguide thing, which isn't the same as JBLs, obviously, because copyright and obviously all that sort of stuff. But they do have a waveguide which does help the tweeters, and they're absolutely they sound absolutely great. And from the specs here, it has 85 dB of continuous output at 2 meters, roughly 6 feet away. So that's pretty loud, isn't it? If you've got
That is
85
bloody
dB,
loud, yeah.
yeah, if you've got 85
That's definitely
dB
loud.
and you're sitting 2 meters away from it, that's loud. That is pretty loud. So they definitely do go loud enough, and they've got they've got definitely enough bass for all of your sort of needs. They have low frequency and high frequency trims, and you can get all they have all of this stuff, which helps. The port is on the front, the bass port, which is some manufacturers do it, some don't. There are pluses and minuses to doing that. They're one of the best pairs of monitors you can get under sort of $300, £300, because they have a 6.5-inch woofer, which is bigger than the 5 inches, so that it sort of puts them in like a league really between the sort of 7-8 inches in between those and the fives, because obviously if you think of sort of main competitors, right, Harry, I'm sure you agree with me with this one. The main competitors for 5-inch woofers, so you've got the KRK Rocket 5s, you've got the Yamaha HS 5s, and you've got the JBL LSR 305s. You can chuck in maybe Presonus, their RS5s, some of those, because they're obviously
I'd say
bunched
that's fair.
together. But I'd say there's sort of the three main ones that actual professionals use, as far as monitoring and mixing and audio and stuff like that, and maybe mastering. And then obviously you can go up, you can get the Rocket 8s, you can get the HS8s, and you can get the LSR LSR 08s? I can't remember what they're called. The 8-inch versions of the JBL LSR series. And so these sit sort of in between. So you're actually getting like a little bit of an upgrade from the sort of get-go, aren't you, really? Because you're not you don't have to get a 5-inch woofer. You can have a 6.5-inch woofer for under 300 quid, which is absolutely amazing. And that level of detail and that bit more bass, especially if you're a producer of electronic music like hip hop or trap or everything, those low frequencies definitely do count when you're mixing, and obviously when you're listening to music back. So you do get a little bit more oomph from them.
What I also think is really cool is how we've taken a very similar price point and we've ended up with two completely different things, but ultimately the same purpose, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
they're both made for listening to music, but they would do it in two completely different ways. And I think that's the greatest thing about audio, is it's not all the same. And that's probably what we both enjoy the most is going around to friends' places, listening to their setups, and going, "Oh, that sounds completely different to what I've got at home." You know
Exactly.
what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just a different world everywhere you go, and
Yeah,
I think that's fantastic.
yeah, and it's a different way. Again, it's a different ways of listening to music because some people that don't even make music prefer listening on monitors, and you get some people that make music and they're like, I 100% much prefer hi-fi speakers and stuff like
Hi-fi.
that. Yeah, yeah, and I mean, it's just preferences and differences and stuff.
Right, I think we should just run over our setups one more time.
Hmm.
I'll read mine out first, and then you read yours out.
Okay.
So I have for my amp, it's going to be the Fosse Audio BT20A. It's a really nice little amp slash DAC thing. It's awesome, sounds good, and you've got dials on the front of it that do cool stuff. And speaker wire is just standard Amazon speaker wire, 14 gauge. That's all you really need. 15 meters and 50 feet. Literally, it's way too much. You won't need that much. You're on a desk. And
Hmm.
then for speakers, I have basically the best you can get for hi-fi stuff is Klitsch Reference R. They're the R series, which is the reference ones,
Yeah.
and they're 51Ms, and they're in black, and they're really, really nice. They're 250 quid.
Oh yeah.
So the amp was 70 quid, the speaker was 10 quid, and the speakers were 250 quid, which brings me to a total of £329 68 pence.
Yeah. Again, that's an absolutely amazing price for starting off, isn't it? As far as
It's fantastic.
yeah. I mean,
If someone said to me I could have Klitsch but as a starter off, I want to do hi-fi, what can I get as a basic speaker? And someone said, yeah, you can get Klitsch, but I'll be like, yeah, on your bike, mate, of course you can. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, you're having a laugh, but no, you genuinely can, because these are older kind of products now. They have not depreciated, but they've gone down a little bit in price, not because they're bad, just because they've got newer flagship stuff out. But back in the day, the reference series was the flagship.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
And that's kind of how it still kind of is. It's just they've got newer ones now.
Well,
But yeah,
yeah,
go
yeah.
on to yours.
So mine. So again, I have, as far as the cable, I have a Stag jack, which again, you can get an RCA if you want to, but I've chosen this Stag SGC 1.5 DL Pro Series jack, for connecting it. And you've got your audio interface, which is the PreSonus AudioBox USB 96. And again, that comes with all the software and everything like that for free, so you don't need to worry about any extra cost for that. So already out the gate, you can start making music with all that gear as well. You don't even have to wait for software. You can literally open it all up, unbox it, install the software, and literally you're away. Again, you got over 6 gigs worth of third-party stuff. So that's absolutely excellent. And for the speakers, we have the Kali Audio LP6s, the 6.5 inch near fields, which puts you in a position slightly better than some 5 inch woofers. Again, so you're in like an absolutely amazing position, which is going to mean that you'll be able to keep them for longer without feeling like, oh, I need a little bit more bass, anything like that, because it sets you apart from a lot of people, because also a lot of people won't have these monitors. They would have just gone down a traditional route, and you can be like, oh, I've got these. And again, that's why they took the company took the world by storm, because they're a little company based in California, and they brought these out, and everyone, all the manufacturers, and all the reviewers, everyone that is listening to stuff, they're absolutely blown away with the quality, of these speakers and how brilliant they sound, especially for their price. It's absolutely brilliant. I'm pretty sure these are even cheaper, if not around the same price as the brand new KRKs. I think they're the Rocket 4s, again, which you've got a
Yeah,
4 inch.
I think they're like 20 quid cheaper,
Yeah, and
which is
then like
mental.
you're getting an extra 2.5 inches in woofer size for that, and it's good quality woofer size. It's not just like your crap quality; it's like really good quality as far as woofer size, which is absolutely amazing. Uh, and that's my whole setup. So we've come to the price of £349 and 90p. So again, that will vary if you decide to go buy RCA cables and depending on what you get. But if you buy this exact setup, you can get yourself can you get yourself a Freddo maybe for under that? I don't know.
He's a little
Get
Freddo
yourself
from
a Freddo as
Cool.
well. Sit there with your Freddo enjoying your audio.
There you go, Freddo and Audio. That's the
Freddo
new
and
name of the
audio.
podcast.
Yeah.
Nice one.
So
I
you got
just want to say, I just want to say, I win.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, as far as price, yeah.
I'm cheaper, right? And in my opinion, I think I get better gear for it.
You do
All
have
right, you get
cheaper.
with your DAC, you get loads of
Yeah,
software with it,
loads of
which I don't
software.
get
Yeah,
any of that, which I think is great, and that's a bloody brilliant price as well for it. So I think that's awesome.
yeah,
But honestly, with my speakers, I would still pick this over it. But yeah, again, I'm from the hi-fi background, so yeah, of course I'm going to be picking what I'm comfortable with.
yeah,
And
yeah.
you guys, I would love for you guys to let us know what you would pick between our two setups. I think they're both great. They both would sound incredible,
Oh
but
yeah.
it's just preference.
Yeah, it's just preference, and at the same time, I mean, with mine, you get that interface, which is absolutely insane. Especially for the money, you get really good quality and inputs. Everything as far as expansion, apart from obviously physical limitations of like recording. If you want to record like multiple channels, obviously you're going to have to get a bigger interface. But again, this is budget, so people aren't really going to want to be doing that, or really can afford to do that, to be completely honest. And again, this was just sort of for mixing and listening. So as far as that, we both achieved our goal, which is brilliant. Again, we've achieved the goal of setting our budget and doing that and delivering not only delivering what we've wanted to, but delivering it at a really high quality. We're getting the best of the best of the budget. And again, clips, I was really taken aback when you said you got clips. Like that's insane. Especially, and Cali Audios, they're priced relatively well anyway, which is why again they took the market by storm, because they're priced same as same as most 5-inch woofers, or even cheaper than.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And what I didn't know is it's the same people that they sit there and they're the same people that came from JBL.
Yeah.
Or as Google likes to say it, Jable.
Yeah. Yeah, they've got a little thing on their page here. So they're founded in 2018, and they're in California. They're at a place called where is it? Some professional and talented individuals. They're designed and engineered
somewhere
in California.
in Cali.
Yeah, somewhere in California. They're in Lone Pine, California, and they are designed and engineered in California, which is brilliant as well. I remember when they first came out, I was thinking I might get a pair, and I remember they didn't even. This was at the time when they literally first came out 2 years ago. I couldn't even buy them in England. I'd have to get them shipped from America type thing to England, from like another site, other than Amazon, because they were so sort of, they started off and they were just like, we'll create these, we'll get some, and it absolutely blew up. Everyone was like, I want a pair, so they had to they had to really internationalize stuff, which is really cool.
I think that's great. And guys, please let us know in the comments what system you would have or what setup you would have, because I think these are both incredible. And if you have any suggestions for what we can do next episode or something like that, or things you want us to cover that we haven't yet, please leave it in the comments as well. Also, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.